That face when the party almost immediately turns an infant into a green smear. One of the party members, an astute intellectual, weighs in on the matter. Well guys, worst case scenario, we can just grow another one. Oh yeah, those guys are gonna win the Parents of the Year award. Hi everybody, Alzar French here and you know it. Welcome to another DnDGreentext. How are you guys doing? Having a wonderful day today. Before jumping into the video, I just want to quickly kindly ask you if you want to take 1 second to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. So yeah, thanks so much for going below and doing that. I appreciate it a lot, thank you. Alright, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. When an IRL working musician plays a bard. Cast: Be me, music teacher with university degree in jazz piano. Be my PC, Coburn Hurley, a part-time adventurer with university degree in yachting. According to the handbook, the yachting resembles a guitar, and I also play guitar. Be the party. Remote via Discord, as since COVID happened, we have stayed in touch but dispersed to widely diverse geographical regions. That means that I have my instruments handy when I'm playing. Setup. We have recently reached level 3, and 2 things have happened. 1. I rolled a good health increase, meaning Coburn is now a little more confident in Thunderwave range, and 2. Coburn also learned Shatter and gained 2 second level spell slots. Now here's the interesting part. On Discord on my phone, which is sitting on top of the piano at my parents' house, where I am for the holidays, fighting some ghouls. 3 of them are grouped up at a safe distance. It's all coming together, that gif. I conjure the ghostly apparition of a Fender Twin Reverb Deluxe and toss it into the middle of that group of ghouls. Then I put on my sunglasses, say rock and roll, and do this on my yachting. And I proceed to play a very aggressive E7 #9, I don't know how you read that, okay, chord on the piano. Don't worry, it's an electric piano with a volume control, it wasn't super loud. Roll damage. I get a 10, which isn't bad, but with a max of 24 it kinda is. 2 of the ghouls pass their con checks and only take 5. Man, I gotta take a look at the wiring on that thing. DM. Do you even have sunglasses? Me. What kind of musician would I be without them? Slightly later in the same fight, the situation repeats itself and I try Shatter again with the same setup. But I play an F #Dim7 this time. I'm just gonna go with this, I have no idea how you're supposed to pronounce that. Anyway, roll 11, but this time only one of the ghouls passes the con checks, so I got that going for me, which is nice. Ah, screw it, I just gotta get this thing to Neverwinter Music Supply, they'll know what to do. A bit later again, out of second level spell slots, still a bunch of ghouls on the field. Leroy Jenkins at MP3. I run in. Okay, this time I'm going to forgo the Fender and instead drop the ghostly apparition of a Vox AC30 on the ground. It's lower power, but who knows what will happen. Play D#E and I roll a 14 on a max of 16. 2 ghouls fail the con and are knocked back 10 feet. Now that's what I call, puts on sunglasses, getting rocked. The sweetest random encounter I've ever had. Be me, huge undead chaos dragon level 20 wild magic sorcerer, formerly human and recently dragon. Getting tired of everyone freaking out whenever they see me without knowing who I am. First time I showed up unannounced, I was shot twice and had a bottle thrown in my face. Even my own family have screamed in terror and fled at my appearance. Oh well, guess I just have to get used to it. Going to local government to get citizenship information updated. Technically don't need to, dragons aren't regulated, but I don't mind. Official, old ally of the party, needs to see dragon form to confirm the story, but dragon form is far too big to fit inside. Go outside to a small plaza to demonstrate. Shape change into dragon. Go from being 5'10" to the official not even coming halfway up my leg, which he taps to verify no illusions. Sound of a mug being dropped and breaking on a nearby balcony. Scaring people just by standing still, and I'm starting to feel bad. Verbally try to reassure people that I'm friendly. Notice one person who doesn't seem afraid. A small boy walking his dog has stopped to look. He's pulled out a small sketchbook and a stick of charcoal. He's sketching me. Make eye contact before going back to how I had been standing and staying still. Boy continues drawing in his book before walking up and holding his sketchbook up. Lower my head to look down and see the 2 sketches that he did. They're simple, but the start of some skill is shown. Give a wide, closed mouth grin. Boy gingerly leans in and boops me on the nose. That's adorable. He rips one of the sketches and hands it up. Gingerly take the paper and place it into my bag of holding, thanking the child and complimenting his work. Boy smiles before leaving with his dog. Say farewells to the official that I had been meeting with before promptly flying off to a nearby store to get the drawing preserved and framed. I return to the party giddy in a way that I've never seen before, showing off the simple yet so meaningful sketch to everyone. The DM actually drew the two sketches during the interaction, which made it so much better. My party chucks birds while in a state of panic. Be me, DMing a D&D game with Pokemon and Pokemon cards. Be not me, my two players, one obsessed with his beloved Bulbasaur and the other who was a little more creative. I make an area where Pokemon can't fly and is dangerous, but plan multiple ways around. Party. Let's head through the center. Okay, whatever. Party sets up camp and leaves 4 Pokemon as guards. The Pokemon roll saves against getting lost in the dark area. Bulbasaur and the Sneasel get lost. Party panics. Take out Gyarados and Rookidee and make Gyarados chuck Rookidee into the air. I'm speechless. Rookidee miraculously lands safely. Party tries to ask him what he saw. Party remembers that they have no idea what the Pokemon is saying. Decides that the next logical step was to chuck another bird Pokemon, Pikipek, into the air. Pikipek is sent pummeling back towards the ground, and the party remembers that the area's defining trait of it is that it's a no-fly zone. Jesus Christ, that's a big F up. Yeah, that's I feel bad for that Pokemon. Jesus, it's not alive anymore, is it? Should have expected that. DM announces that the next campaign will be inspired by ancient Greeks and their mythology. Very next day, all 3 character sheets come in. Paladin, Cleric, and Warlock all worshipping Dionysus. This will be one of those campaigns. Hold on, which god was that? Okay, so it's the god of grape harvest, winemaking, yeah, stuff like that. Specifically the intoxication and social influence, but also the patron of agriculture and the theater. So, yeah, okay. The Adventures of Face Baby. Be me, GM. Be not me. 1 sane person and 5 absolute lunatics. Playing a homebrew space fantasy setting loosely based off of 40k. Like 40k, orcs are fungus. Party kills an orc the size of an asteroid. This thing would effectively be a demigod to orcs. Mad scientist of the party decides he wants to rip its face off to study it for later. Sure? Mad scientist stashes it away on the ship and promptly forgets about it for like 2 months. Since orcs are fungus, the gigantic orc face grows a new baby. Bard discovers the baby. It calls the Bard Dada, despite him being a dwarf. Bard decides to name him Face Baby. First thing that Face Baby wants to do is kill, crush and burn. Face Baby makes crayon drawing of him and Dada murdering and cannibalizing villages together. Party is so proud of him and wants to humor him by taking him into combat. They plan to keep him safe by having the Bard levitate him really high up so nobody hurts the fella. Bard gets absolutely bodied and loses concentration. Face Baby only has 6 hit points. Face Baby takes 9 points of falling damage. Face Baby begins making death saves. The party eventually ends combat and barely saves Face Baby. That face when the party almost immediately turns an infant into a green smear. One of the party members, an astute intellectual, weighs in on the matter. Well guys, worst case scenario, we can just grow another one. Oh yeah, those guys are gonna win the Parents of the Year award. Oh, that was a beautiful story, Jesus. I really enjoyed that. The power of friendship and gambling. Be me, new BDM, running a modified Lost Mines of Phandelver, about to start session 1. Be not me, Artificer, Monk, Rogue and a Blood Hunter. 20 minutes before the session, a friend wants to join the campaign and has to roll up a character. I approve this, and both the Monk and Rogue wanted to create new characters too. I reluctantly agree, and they speedrun character creation. New player rolls up a charismatic Rogue, and the Monk rolls up a Fighter, and the Rogue rolls up a Warlock. Alright, let's do this one more time. Be not me, High Charisma Rogue, Artificer, Fighter, Warlock and Blood Hunter. Character introductions go fairly smoothly. Rogue tries to play poker with other party members, but no one wants to. Artificer causes shenanigans with his pay perspective. TLDR, Fate-touched variant human got turned into a puppet and agrees to play. Stakes are 5 gold for the Rogue versus a sandwich from the Artificer. Artificer wins and gives the sandwich away. So far so good. Dead horses mark a goblin ambush. The fight goes well, 3 out of 4 goblins get KO'd and tied up, and the last one retreats, standard module stuff. After the fight, Artificer starts beating the dead horses and makes a circle around them, claiming it would prevent them from coming back to life. More than a bit weird, but no harm done, I guess? Rogue starts playing poker with one of the restrained goblins and wins his weapons. Takes some gentle nudging to get the party to go to the goblins' hideout, and they go after a short rest. During the rest, the Artificer explains his beaver-based conspiracy theory to the Warlock and Fighter, with the Rogue playing poker with the now freed goblins, winning their friendship, and the Blood Hunter staring at the goblins to make sure they don't get up to something. Incidentally, the Rogue is now convinced that the Blood Hunter has a crush on him. Rogue also now has a piece of paper for the Best Friends Club that he and all of the goblins have signed, with the Artificer as an honorary member because he didn't want to sign a contract, quote unquote. One trek along a forest trail later, they arrive at the hideout. Rogue befriends the goblins waiting by the entrance through a combination of having their friends with him and more than a little "this isn't how it normally goes" confusion. Rogue wants to befriend Clark, the hideout boss, because one of the goblins implied he had no friends, and also find the goblin they mentioned who had an interest in games. Something I added to the module. Befriended goblins warn him that Clark is angry and temperamental, but this doesn't stop him. What could go wrong? Rogue sneaks on ahead alone. Rogue sees the wolves chained up and gives them food, but fails to befriend them to his disappointment. He does pet one though, continues sneaking around, and eventually gets caught. After much persuading, escorting, and a chess game, finally gets to talk to Clark. Offers to be Clark's friend, but Clark is suspicious of him. Instead, offers to play poker with Clark and teaches him how to play, to which he agrees. Meanwhile, the Artificer gets escorted to follow the Rogue, since he's taking a while, and the rest of the party goes to investigate the hideout on their own. Artificer gets distracted playing chess with aforementioned game-loving goblin, and wins despite not being able to see in the dark cave. The rest of the party finds the room with a lot of goblins and Sildar, a human adventurer being held captive. Seeing that they are outnumbered, they take a page out of the Rogue's book, claim that the reinforcements sent to take the prisoner. Lucky for them, the big bad has more than just goblins working for him, unbeknownst to the party. Manage to make multiple deception checks at disadvantage and walk away with the prisoner without a fight. Cut back to the Rogue playing poker with Clark. Current stakes are 4 silver from the Rogue versus some rations from Clark. Rogue wins, angering Clark. He runs away with the prize before Clark can attack. On the way out, the Rogue offers the rations that he wants to the wolf he pet, winning it over. He now has a pet wolf. The party all leaves, getting through the dungeon without a fight. They missed the loot in Clark's room, so are still dirt poor. Still, they rescued Sildar, got a pet wolf, and had Clark sign the Best Friends Club paper. The real treasure was the friends that they made along the way. This crazy party might just work out. Addendum. This was written immediately after my first session. I have since had a handful more, with shenanigans such as selling a party member for a ketchup gun and befriending a Charizard, quote unquote. Okay, I am looking forward to seeing the ketchup gun story on the subreddit, to be honest. But yeah, alright, on that note, I guess that's gonna be it for today's video. So thank you so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like if you didn't subscribe for more if you haven't already. Also thank you to everyone supporting the channel on Patreon, and also I appreciate it so much for those. Links for everything, check out links in the subreddit, Discord, and everything else. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time. Bye.